This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we're talking about right now the report builder. So basically, Blue Cherry comes with a bunch of reports built in. However, you do have reports. You have an ability to create your own reports. So I will open the report builder again. You go into your search. You you'll pick up report builder here. And let's take a look at something. Let's see there are different shells here, right? Everything that you see here right now, we call them shells. So you have an account receivable, automatic allocation, base module, and things like that. And let's pick up a shell and see if we could build something here. So, for example, I do believe we have some open orders in the system right now. Let me just double check if there's something here that we could find. Open order maintenance. Yep, looks like we do have 5 different open orders. So I will go ahead and I'm going to go into the report builder and shell called sales order management module. On that shell, we do have different options available to you. So you have a base shell. You do have you know for header information, you have details. So let's take a look at the detail base, for example. So if I go there, as you can see, there's already a bunch of reports, ad hoc reports presented to you. They're like standard blanket reports. I'm not going to go into details on how to, um, you know, click and open one, but we could take an existing one and modify it, or we could create a brand new from scratch. Typically it's easier sometimes to just copy a report rather than make a brand new from scratch, but I'll go ahead and create a brand new right now just to teach you how to do this. So I'm going to click new on the sales order detail base, and you're presented with a screen. So again, this is the reports, could be assigned by type. So you could have just a user-based report, so only that user can see this report. Normally, if you want everybody to see the report, you would use something called corporate here for the type, and then you're going to give it a name. So let's say you want to just see, what do you have on order, like an open order report or something like that, right? So I would type open order report or give it any other name. Sometimes, we recommend if you make like a custom report, you could put your name there, or make it all caps, just so those reports you guys use for your own purposes, which are custom built reports. So let me just do this. I'm going to say open order report MK. Right. So in here, basically, you have different tabs for this report. Like you have layout, group and filter, advanced filter, and properties. So the first one is layout. It basically shows you what exactly is going to be on your report. So in this case, you are going to be getting the order number, the pick number, voice number, cancel number, and a line number. Nothing else here. So all these, by the way, we call them BROs, BROs, business report objects, and each one presents its own piece of data. Then you do have grouping. Grouping basically it defines in what sequence the data is presented. So typically, for example, if you print out, or details, so you might want to present it by order line number, something like that. So not just sorted out alphabetically by style number or color number. So you define the sequence. Filter is basically you just build the filter. You need to have at least one filter for the report, otherwise it won't let you save this. So I would probably pick, this is an open order report. I would probably pick like a customer for a filter. You could simply type customer and then it'll find this bro for you. So I'm just going to say to show that filter. Then you have an advanced filter where you could build like equations. I could teach you on that later. And then you have properties of a report. So properties, you have different things like, for example, typically use the paper size. So I'm going to say this one is going to be a letter size report, and the orientation is going to be landscape mode, right? So and then you have a few things like you could show, suppress company name. I like to suppress I like to suppress a banner here. I don't like to see that banner, but it's up to you. Basically, you could pick whatever you want. So at this point, the report actually can be saved. And if I save this, if I'm going to go into a report launcher, I could see it and run it ad hoc, or you could run it right from here. So you have a run option. If I click on the run option again, you could print it, or you could preview it and then print it from the preview. If I just pick run, default option is to preview, and let's see what we can see on this particular report. Okay, again, this is the first page is a banner page. We didn't disable this, so we have it here. The second one is here. Hold on just 1 second there. I apologize. I just want to pick up second line quickly. Don't go anywhere. I apologize. Okay. So you have, again, whatever rows we selected for this report, which was order, pick, invoice, cancel, and line number, they do show up here. So SEK is a line number here. So as you can see, this order number 1 that has 2 lines. Obviously, this one has no meaningful data here. If I go back to report now, so for example, I would want to see what style numbers are in this report. So I would probably look for a style. Then, some people want to see like maybe a style name that's more descriptive. And then we could talk about, different quantities. For example, you could say, I want to see what's open on this order, right? And I possibly want to see, who the customer is in this order. So let's pick this guy customer, and we could grab this and put it right under customer. And let's see, this is we build in an open order report, so we don't need invoice number, we don't need pick number, we don't need cancel number, because we just want to see what's an open order, right? And we're just looking at total units open for this. Okay. One thing is important again, since we're only looking for open order, we could go back to filter, and we could look for something called line status, right? So on line status, or is it just a status? I cannot remember. It's definitely has a status. Order status, is it? Order date, order source, order status. There you go. Yeah, so we definitely want to see something that we want to show the order status, and at the same time we want to pre-save the filter value here. So different statuses can exist for order. You can have an open order that's status O. You have a picked order that's status P, and invoice order is status I. So I'm going to grab order status O, and I'm going to save this. So everything that you change here will appear now on top. So this is a filter value. You automatically default in that filter to be O. So now if I run this, I expect to see less data, but I expect to see more information on this particular order report. So it's a banner, and you do have your order number 1 for customer called Bob's, and then the style that the customer is buying is K style 01, and they have 0 quantities open. So we might want to make sure that the quantities is also, put some additional filters to this to make sure the report shows us exactly what we've seen. Because right now, as you can see, this particular report shows you we have 0 quantities. However, obviously we don't want to see 0 quantities, so we could, go back and add additional filters to the report by maybe going into, something like, total order units or total open units. Make sure this number is greater than 0. So if that's a filter, then obviously if we run this now, as you could see, only like quantities that are greater than 0 will show up. So in this case, order number 9 for Bob's with open units to 22 pieces, and total on order you have right now 445 pieces. And that in essence is how you build the report. So a couple of things could, once you build the report, let me just, again, there's more that goes to this, but I'm just showing you, I'm showing you the ropes and the basics. Once you have this report now, you can go ahead and, choose print. If you have a printer set up, you could export, or you could email. A lot of people like that. So if I'm going to go and click email, I could type the email address here. I could also click on to, however, it's empty. All email addresses are set in the representative screen reference. You could set them up so that you don't need to type them, or you could simply type them manually. So in this case, I will type. I believe your email is dinosarah at allring.com. So I could type this, and I could CC myself, for example, just to make sure I get that. And you could pick the format. So I think typically used is a PDF document and Excel document. I'll pick the PDF document for now, and I'll send it out to you. So click OK. Email has been successfully submitted. So I expect that you should get this email within a couple of minutes or so. So that's basically it in the report builder. Again, there's more to this. You could schedule reports. One of the good things about Blue Cherry, you could basically set up a report to come out on a daily basis. For example, somebody will say, "Oh, I want to get my open order report, every day at 9 o'clock in the morning." Then you could go ahead and click schedule, and then you could basically choose the frequency. So in this particular case, we could do it either one-time frequency, or we could do it, on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and so forth. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some reports that are going to be scheduled and sent out to you on a regular basis, you or your coworkers. Just show you quickly. If you go to representative reference, so in this case, we have quite a few people here. And where's David?
I'm here, right here. Oh, sorry.
I'm being blind, but here, David Nosera. If I double click that, so I believe in where is it? I'm trying to think where the email address is set up. Email. I don't see it here. It's on default. I gotta look that up. I forgot where the email address is being assigned. Let me just make a note of that. I totally forgot. Oh, maybe it's under attachments. Maybe it's under contacts here. I think so. Let me double check for sure where the representative email is set up so that I don't give you incorrect information. I'll send you a separate email on that. But basically, I believe this is set up on the representative reference, and then you could, when you do a report builder, and then when you email, instead of typing the email address, you could just click to and choose it and move it to the right side here. So I'll find out for you. Okay. So we have 8 minutes. Let me stop here quickly and jump into Inquiry Builder. Inquiry basically, I personally think it's a great tool in Blue Cherry. Probably one of the most powerful tools. The system comes loaded with a bunch of default inquiries. If you type inquiry, you see them here. Many people use availability by style. So once you start doing allocations, I'll explain you what that inquiry is. You have bulk order inquiry, so that's another could be important inquiry for you when you start to draw down against the bulk. Cut and sold inquiry it's extremely important. That one is it's going to tell you what your inventories. But anyways, we'll cover the inquiries in a separate training. As you can see, there are a lot of them. However, I'm going to go into Inquiry Builder. If I open this up right now, again, same thing here. You have different shells. For sales order management, a popular inquiry is order by customer, right? So order by customer, you do have a default inquiry here. What I'll do is I'll just copy an existing inquiry, right? And again, the type, I'm going to be a corporate, and we're going to say open order by customer. Let's just save that, right? So you could once you make changes to the inquiry, you could click Save and Launch. And once you save and launch, the inquiry screen opens up, order by customer, and then you could simply run it and look at the information on that inquiry screen. One other way to do this, if you actually go into an inquiry by itself, order by customer, and then on the inquiry, you do have different templates. So right now we have two. One is that came there originally, orders by customer, and then you have open order by customer, the one that we just created. So once I pick that, I could click Run. And this is my inquiry. So if I were to go back into Inquiry Builder again, you have your layout, which is basically what's presented on the inquiry with dimensions and facts. So dimensions are basically roles that you're reporting against, and facts is the information you're reporting on. So would be and typically by looking at the inquiry, you'll see that your dimensions in this particular case is status, customer, PO number, order number, and style, and all the facts are basically this booked in is booked amount, open quantity, open amount, and so forth. So if I go back to Inquiry Builder, first of all, let's just go into filters because this is an open order. So I am going to put status. Order line status. So I'm going to filter to open order only, right? Again, we're going to say O, and then we're going to go back to layout. So everything that's inaccessible, that's going to show up on the inquiry as a choice for you to drag down into the inquiry. And everything that's selected, either rows or facts, is going to be here. So in this case, let me just minimize the header so we have more real estate. For rows currently selected is align status, customer, purchase order number, and style. So I click Save right now, and I launch. So my expectation is before we saw the inquiry did have invoice and open order. However, if I go back and if I run the inquiry now, because we put the filter to only have O, you see, as you can see, O is the only option, and you basically have three different customers: Amazon, BBB, and Bob's, and those are the ones that we're showing basically what's happening with these orders. So because we know these are open orders, they're not picked and not invoiced. Technically, we don't need to see the pick quantity and invoice quantity, right? So I could go back to the inquiry builder, and I could say, hey, because we're not looking to see anything that's picked or invoiced because it's simply not an inquiry, we could basically grab this and just delete all this units invoiced, amount invoiced. So we're just looking for open stuff, right? Units open, units open, amount open, price, net extended price, and the gross profit, right? So this is easy enough inquiry. So let me just save that, and I could click Save and Launch. and I could click run. And as you can see, the only options you have now is booked amount, open quantity, open amount, price. That's exactly what we chose for those facts to report on. If you, for example, again, we don't need status anymore because we're only reporting on open orders. So technically, I could either go to Inquiry Builder. However, again, you could have as many views as you want for inquiries. We, however, always say, make it a limited amount because otherwise people are going to be confused where they're looking for, and better teach them how to manipulate the inquiry on the fly because that's where the power comes from. They could basically build everything they need right on the fly. So, for example, I don't care to see status here anymore because I know it's already just so I could take that and put it back, and now we just report them by customer. Right on the inquiry, you could do filters. You could only pick, I want to see everything just for Amazon. There you go. I'm only showing you Amazon and so forth. But anyways, so this is inquiry. Again, you asked for Inquiry Builder, so I showed you this stuff. Again, dimensions is the rows you're reporting on. Facts are the columns. And as you can see right now, you're reporting on booked, open, pick, and you could add more stuff to it. Let's see what else we want to get for this particular one. Maybe we want to see a level price, right? So, so it's going to show up here as a selected fact, right? So, and we added, if I save now and then save and launch, I actually don't need to save and then save and launch. I could just save and launch. It's going to save automatically. And now if I scroll to the right, you have your price A there as well, right? So, so all of that is how you build your inquiry. And again, everything, you could then play. You could play. There's a ton of stuff that you could do with inquiries. You could, first of all, you have addresses, packages. Then you have your options on how to export this. You could put it into Excel sheet. And send it to somebody by email as well, right? You could print this out. You could, if you could make modifications, then you could save the inquiry and make it into a new template later on if you want to. So it comes out in the format that you want. You could see a raw EDI data. So once you, I'm not sure if your remote server reference is up, but no raw EDI transactions. But yeah, you could see right from the inquiry your EDI data. So that's basically it on Inquiry Builder and Report Builder at very high level. I guess, we could also talk about, Bro Builder later on because one important tool to learn and master is building your own bros. That could be done through, and you could do it for Inquiry Builder and Report Builder alike. So you could build bros for them, but we could cover it later. So that's basically it. Any questions, David?
No, this was spectacular, and I'm going to save this. We're going to end the meeting, and what we'll do is we'll talk tomorrow about the next week, and then how we're going to start to do the bro building classes. Thank you very much, Maxim. Great job.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Take care. Bye.